Okay. Do you want background music for the early drosh before the service?
Ya lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, la lai la lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai. Yai dai dai dai, yai dai yai dai, yai dai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai, yai dai yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai yai dai dai yai dai yai dai 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 dai. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Tohu manayim shevet hachim gam yachad. Hine matohu manayim shevet hachim gam yachad. Hine matohu manayim shevet hachim gam yachad. Tovu manayim shevet hachim gam yachad. Hine matovu 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 manayim shevet hachim gam yachad. Matovu manayim shevet hachim gam yachad. Hine matovu manayim shevet hachim gam yachad. Shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem. Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. המלכים הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלאכים הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלאכים הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא שיחכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלאכים הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Congregation Micah. We are, as I often say, our mission at the beginning, an inclusive, innovative synagogue where we really explore and celebrate Jewish life, committed to building community and trying to help heal the whole world. I'm Rabbi Flip, and Cantor Josh is at my side, and Rabbi Lori is here, and she's going to share some words of Torah later in our service. With the setting of the sun this evening, according to the Jewish calendar, we do not only celebrate Shabbat, but also begin the observance of a pretty big birthday for our country. In Gematria, the ancient Jewish practice of assigning numerical values to Hebrew letters, the number 250 is tied to the concept of the soul, and this is how. In Hebrew, Nun equals 50 and Resh equals 200, totaling 250. The number 250 is the numerical value of the Hebrew word ner, which means candle. And our ancestors believed the candle to symbolize the inner spiritual illumination of a person, often associated with the lights of Shabbat. So 250 years ago, our American story of inclusion was rooted in this revolutionary idea that people from all sorts of different backgrounds could live together in safety and in freedom. And a decade and a half later, after that document was created, in 1790, George Washington famously wrote the Hebrew congregation in Newport, Rhode Island, promising that the United States would give, quote, to bigotry no sanction and to persecution no assistance. And this guarantee made America really one of the first nations to grant us, the Jewish people, and other marginalized groups, the same liberties and civil protections as everybody else. This founding promise led to our home becoming a sanctuary, as millions of Eastern European immigrants arrived in the late 19th and 20th centuries. And our country, the United States of America, served as this ultimate refuge, providing economic opportunities and allowing our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents to escape persecution and to build new lives here on this soil while remaining unique and true to their own cultural and religious identities. So, today, the Jewish American experience is considered a quintessential chapter in America's broader identity. And while our democracy remains forever fragile, and we may feel that more poignantly than in years past, we are grateful still to be a part of this historic milestone in the life of our republic. So on this Shabbat, as we begin really a July 4th celebration as well, we want to know what you are celebrating. I'm coming out here into our crowd, the ones that braved this weather. Yeah, I got the coupons. I don't think we need them in the small crowd, but we couldn't be more excited that you all came out while the rain was happening. And to warm us up this evening, we want to know something happy that you could tell us that's going on in your life or the life of someone you know. And Rabbi Lori said her words of Torah more on the 15-minute side, so we're going to need someone to do this now. Okay, I'm coming back there to Amy. Thanks for getting us going.
So after dilly-dallying around for about 24 hours, Eliza Joan was born early in the morning yesterday, and we're grandparents, and Brandon's a daddy.
Wow. That's what we call like a third-generation family. That's outstanding. Mazel tov to grandma and to healthy baby and parents and everybody involved. Try and trump that. Someone have something better than that? Doesn't have to be better. I'm coming over here.
I'm going to Israel Sunday.
Awesome.
We say Nisiat Tova. May that be a magical and transformative journey. Yeah, the Holy Land. That's pretty good, too. Those are two pretty good ones. I'm coming over here. I know what you're going to say.
No, oops. Now, this is hard to trump that, but I'm grand dog sitting this weekend.
Anything that brings us joy. They're away. Our dog sitters go away? Okay. Camping. They didn't take the dog? Okay, makes sense. Anybody else? Last question before we let this train leave the station, and that is anyone really, really wanted to light Shabbat candles before this crowd? Someone does. Otherwise, I have to do it. You want to do it? All right, Pat's coming. Anyone who wants to. Helene's coming. You don't need them, but I have instructions. Anyone else who wants to go? Oh, it's very exciting. You want a shekechianu, we can do it. Up these stairs, right over there.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Thank you very much. We continue warming up with the words of Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei shabar לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורי קומי אורי, אורי אורי, שידברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום את ארץ בעלה, גם בשמחה ובשולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא יברח ירצה וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביום היכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב. ואמרו אמן, יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם עולם מעלמיה. יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל. שמי לקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא. ואמרו אמן. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai.
The ongoing pursuit of a cohesive identity and a shared purpose among a diverse populace. the need to balance self-rule with civic participation. The goal, emphasize the unity of the collective without requiring complete uniformity. This is where our religious and democratic values align. Our foundational documents, the Torah and the Talmud, the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, they all provide a framework for managing division and diversity, for establishing principles for an inclusive society. And they serve as the standard by which advocates challenge exclusion, calling upon us to find common ground. In Israel, Hebrew, they call the United States Artsot Habrit. It means land of the covenant. Why? Because we have an agreement to share governance, a system which respects state and local self-rule while requiring coalitions on national issues. Across different demographics, common goals can emerge. And the idea of a united America embraces diversity rather than demanding strict uniformity. It's called pluralism. And our ancestors, they seem to know this, not just the ones who founded our country, but the ones who founded our tradition millennia ago. Shema Yisrael, listen up, Israel. We are all connected. We are all one. E pluribus unum, out of the many, one.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'er. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'er. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And you shall love Adonai with all your soul and all your might, and teach these words today and night to all your children, for it's their right. Wear them proudly as a sign upon your head, and as a crown above your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates throughout all time.
The Statue of Liberty. What a profound symbol of refuge and hope. Jewish-American poet Emma Lazarus, in her sonnet, The New Colossus, defined Lady Liberty as the mother of exiles, welcoming the, quote, huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And like the Israelites, for generations of Jewish immigrants crossing a sea and arriving in a New York harbor, especially those fleeing a deadly anti-Semitic pogrom or the Holocaust. Like the Egyptians, the statue was the first site of freedom. And Lazarus based the statue's welcoming message on biblical teachings from the Torah that instruct Jews to welcome the stranger. She described the statue as holding a, quote, lamp beside the golden door. The lamp mirrors the Ner Tamid, our eternal light, signifying perpetual hope and redemption and divine protection. And all of this is not just to illuminate you, but to let you know that we are going to continue our partnership with Belmont University this summer with what's called Faith 250. And Micah, along with partner congregations, the Temple, West End United Methodist Church, and Brook Hollow Baptist Church, will host 4 interfaith dinners and discussions on some of America's most founding texts. 4 Tuesday evenings in August: America the Beautiful, the Declaration of Independence, the Gettysburg Address, and the New Colossus. A special thanks to Micah's education director, Julie Greenberg, for helping coordinate this. We sing our ancient song of freedom now.
Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
In our Torah portion this week, we find the word, the concept, zealotry. Not mere activism, fanaticism. That's what is motivating this character Pinchas, Moses' great nephew, who in this week's Torah portion takes a spear, charges into a tent, and with one thrust dispatches a sinning Israelite and his Midianite lady friend. He's considered a hero for following Moses' command to kill those practicing idolatry and living a lewd lifestyle. Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah, the great prophet, the welcome guest at Passover Seders and Brit Milah, ritual circumcision. He was also pretty zealous, killing hundreds of idolatrous prophets after demonstrating graphically that they preached a false faith. There is so much to be angry about in our world today. If you're going to have passion for any cause, can I suggest using a Micah approach that includes humility in your search for justice? And remember to be careful of how and when to direct our passions, because while zealotry flourished in biblical times and is certainly practiced by many of our neighbors here and abroad, it is out of fashion in the Reformed Jewish community. We ask now that God protect us from the outside dangers, from the zealots that are out there, and from the inside ones, from all the scary things, external, internal. Our prayer of protection is Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, ve'ha'amideinu shomreinu b'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake in morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We ask those who do not find it difficult to please rise for tefillah, our central prayer.
Ananana Adonai. Ananana Svatai Tiftam. Ananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Velohei Avoteinu V'Imoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Velohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Velohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur Ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'Konei Hakol Ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot U'Mevii Geula Livnei V'neihem Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Ata Adonai Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Ata Rav Le'Oshia Mohorir Ata Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed Mechaye HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato B'Sheni Afar Michamocha Bal Gevurot Umidomela Melech Mimit Umechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol Baruch ata Adonai mechaye hakol Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kedoshim b'cho yom yahalelucha sela Baruch ata Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
A little time for some silence, your own thoughts, your own prayers. You may be seated when you are through.
As we think about our founding fathers and mothers, I thought this would be an appropriate post-Amidah psalm. We are gifts and we are blessings. We are history in song. We are hope and we are healing. We are learning to be strong. We are words and we are stories. We are pictures of the past. We are carriers of wisdom, not the first and not the last. Ledor vador nagid kol lecha. Ledor vador we protect this chain from generation to generation. Ledor vador these lips will praise your name. Looking back on the journey that we carry in our hearts, from the shadow of the mountain to the waters that would part. We are blessed, we are holy, we are children of your way. And the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say. Ledor vador nagid kol lecha. Ledor vador we protect this chain from generation to generation. Ledor vador these lips will praise your name.
Thank you, Cantor Josh. I love that piece. So, Shabbat Shalom. As Rabbi Flip has shared with us tonight, Judaism teaches that freedom is never simply the absence of oppression. Freedom is the willingness to bind ourselves to covenant, to responsibility. At Sinai, our ancestors did not simply escape Egypt. They entered into this brit, this covenant. They chose obligation over chaos. They understood that a free people survives only when ordinary people accept extraordinary responsibility for each other. And there is a story from American history that surprisingly reminds me of Sinai. Everyone who lived through the September 11th terrorist attacks knows the story of Flight 93. But one journalist came to see this moment differently after visiting the Flight 93 National Memorial in Stoystown, Pennsylvania, about 70 miles east of Pittsburgh, not far from the Maryland and West Virginia borders. Colleen Shogan said it was perhaps the most profound history-based civics lesson that she has ever experienced. Here's what she wrote. At 8:42 a.m., United Airlines Flight 93 departed Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey, bound for San Francisco. At 9:28 a.m., the plane was hijacked by 4 men, a Lebanese citizen and 3 Saudi nationals, wielding knives, including at least 1 box cutter. After a struggle, the terrorists took control of the cockpit, incapacitating the pilot and the co-pilot. A flight attendant and a first-class passenger were most likely murdered soon thereafter. The hijackers then forced the surviving 32 passengers and 4 crew members to the back of the plane. This is where the terrorists made a tactical error. No doubt they believed that by keeping the passengers at the rear of the aircraft, they would have the freedom and the secrecy they needed to steer the plane towards its intended target in Washington, D.C. but they fundamentally misunderstood the United States and her citizens. Instead of protecting the hijackers, relocating the passengers to the rear of the plane gave those on board Flight 93 the space and opportunity to engage in one of the most extraordinary acts of civic engagement in American history. The hijackers failed to appreciate that the Americans on that plane had likely been taught civics in school and absorbed our country's most basic democratic principles. While none of the passengers were thinking about those lessons that day, they did know exactly what to do. The passengers used cell phones and airphones, the now archaic-seeming in-flight telephone service, to call loved ones. They quickly learned that 2 other hijacked planes had crashed into the World Trade Center in New York City. They shared this information with each other and began considering their options. 37 phone calls were made from the back of the plane. The heartbreaking messages of goodbye and enduring love are understandably what we remember the most. But the calls also served another purpose: gathering valuable knowledge. Given the duress these 36 Americans were under, the next step that they undertook is nothing short of astonishing. Jeremy Glick, a sales manager from New Jersey, called his mother-in-law's home to speak with his wife. During that conversation, Glick described the plans the passengers and flight attendants were formulating. According to the FBI, he explained that the passengers were voting on whether to storm the cockpit and retake control of the plane. The passengers on Flight 93 did not just follow the loudest, strongest, or most forceful person. Faced with circumstances that almost certainly meant death, they chose their course of action by voting. One of their last acts on earth paid homage to the principles of democracy. After deciding on the course of action, the passengers waited to implement their plan until they were flying over a rural area. In a conversation with his wife, Tom Burnett, an executive at a medical device company in California, revealed this was a deliberate decision made after passengers discussed their options. He said, "We're waiting until we're over a rural area, and then we're going to take back the plane." When Colleen Shogan read this detail, she felt a shiver down her spine. She grew up in a populated eastern suburb of Pittsburgh. During long summer evenings, she and her mother frequently watched the steady stream of planes overhead, often wondering where they were headed. Had Flight 93 flown over her house that day? Had her neighborhood or one like it been spared because of the plan formulated by the passengers on board? At 9:55 a.m., an airphone operator who was on the line with Todd Beamer, an account manager who lived in New Jersey, heard what was likely the passengers' final exchange. And this we've heard before. She reported hearing Beamer say, "Are you guys ready? Okay, let's roll." At 9:57 a.m., less than 30 minutes after the hijacking began, the passengers and crew of Flight 93 attempted to retake the cockpit. By 9:59, a struggle was underway, and the plane was seen lurching from side to side. The hijackers quickly realized they were losing control, and unable to fend off the passenger assault on the cockpit, they decided to crash the plane. At 10:02 a.m., the Boeing 757 flipped onto its back, and the next minute smashed into an empty field near a coal mine. Although everyone on board was killed, there were no additional casualties on the ground due to the unpopulated landscape around the crash site. Heart-wrenching as these final moments remain, they are the culmination of one of the most remarkable acts of civic initiative and courage in American history. Placed in an impossible life or death situation, the passengers and crew of Flight 93 followed the steps we would expect of citizens functioning in a democracy that is healthy, confronting crisis. In less than 30 minutes, they gathered information, discussed their options, took a vote, and acted on their decision. At the Flight 93 National Memorial, clips from the National Park Service dedication ceremony held on September 10th, 2011, play on a continuous loop. President George W. Bush's words stopped Colleen Shogan in her tracks. At the moment America's democracy was under attack, our citizens defied their captors by holding a vote. The choice they made would cost them their lives, and they knew it. Those words are followed by the voice of President Bill Clinton, who joined Bush at the ceremony in a display of bipartisan unity. He said, with almost no time to decide, they gave the entire community an incalculable gift. They saved the Capitol from attack. They saved God knows how many lives. They saved the terrorists from claiming the symbolic victory of smashing the center of American government. And they did it as citizens. Flight 93 is an example of what historians call uncomfortable or difficult history. It is not easy to digest the reality of what happened that day. Uncomfortable history often forces us to confront moments when Americans failed to live up to our principles, such as slavery, the Dred Scott decision, or the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. These chapters require humility and reckoning. But at other times, it reveals Americans choosing to live by their principles, even when they are afraid, or desperate, or being treated unjustly. Frederick Douglass publicly recounting the story of his bondage, despite the risk of recapture. Suffragist Alice Paul enduring violence and abuse in prison in seeking the vote for women. Or Chief Standing Bear, driven from his homeland, insisting that the federal government recognize Native Americans as people under the law. Such moments leave us with a deeper respect for our ideals, and Flight 93 belongs in that tradition. Historian Drew Gilpin Faust remarked in an interview, "How do we have history that's not uncomfortable? How do we have any kind of education that doesn't make you uncomfortable in some way?" Education asks you to change. Faust urges us to have the courage to be disturbed. The story of Flight 93 should disturb us, not only because of its violence, but also because of its moral clarity. In a moment when fear could have justified submission or chaos, the passengers chose legitimacy. Knowing the cost full well, they acted as citizens. It is an important lesson for us all. The passengers of Flight 93 left little room for excuses. If self-government was possible in those final, dire minutes, it cannot be dismissed as impractical or obsolete today. I wanted to share this story tonight on the Shabbat before July 4th, on the brink of America's 250th. Because shortly after taking office, as Rabbi Flip quoted earlier, President George Washington received congratulatory letters from various religious groups, minority groups, including Catholics, Baptists, and Jews, who were eager to understand their place and rights in this new republic. The Jewish community in America was small, numbered about 1,000, and several congregations sent their own distinct messages. And in his reply, Washington emphasized his belief in religious liberty, civil equality, and tolerance. And he drew parallels between the dawning of America and Israelites' deliverance in Egypt. President Washington also championed the idea that all citizens of the United States, regardless of religious denomination, would fully participate in the temporal and spiritual blessings of this country. The letter, along with his more famous letter to the Hebrew congregation of Newport, written a few months later, cemented the idea that America was founded on religious equality and inherent natural rights rather than mere toleration. Much like we read in the book of Genesis, B'Tselem Elohim, we are all images of the divine, all of us. Our tradition teaches, Kol Yisrael Aravim Ze Bazeh. All Israel is responsible for one another. Over the centuries, Jews have expanded that teaching beyond our own community because every human being bears God's image. The passengers of Flight 93 acted because they realized their fate was connected to the fate of people they would never meet. The Mishnah teaches, whoever saves a single life, it is as if they have saved an entire world. The passengers of Flight 93 could not save themselves, yet they chose to save countless worlds they would never see. Political philosopher Daniel Elazar often described both America and Israel as covenantal societies. A covenant is different from a contract. A contract asks, what do I get? A covenant asks, what do I owe? Sinai was a covenant. America's founding at its best aspired to covenant as well. Not merely a collection of individuals pursuing private happiness, but citizens accepting shared obligations for a common good. Covenants survive only when ordinary people choose responsibility over self-interest. The passengers of Flight 93 did not know each other. They came from different states, occupations, faiths, and political convictions. Yet in a matter of minutes, they became an Eidah, a community. Judaism has always believed that holiness emerges not simply from individual heroism, but from people choosing to become responsible for one another. In that sense, Flight 93 is not only a story of courage, it is a story about how a collection of strangers became, however briefly, a covenantal community. And that is perhaps the deepest Jewish lesson of all. Shabbat Shalom and happy 4th.
Yeshar Koach, we say. Nice work. I don't know who's smarter, Rabbi Lori or me for marrying her. We're going to take a few moments to think about people in this community, people you may know of in other places that are in need of a prayer for healing. Sue is here. She's on my list, but I'm taking her off because she's moving around too well. And Donna Kaplan, I actually visited with Rabbi Yitzhak Teitel, who is also healing from a car accident, but is on the way. Nora Sones, Johnny Sells, Margene Cotton, Rick Margitoff, Sherry Goldberg, Kim Keller, Eddie Sandberg, and Olivia Fogel. Other folks you may know of in need of such a prayer, we welcome you to say their names aloud. We think of all sick people and invite you to sing with us our prayer for healing.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishemerach imotinu mekor habracha leimotenu. Bless those in need of healing. Refuah Shlema. Renewal of body. Renewal of spirit. And let us say, Amen.
If you have a card because you shared a celebratory moment earlier, or if you don't and you still want to come forward and be close to Torah, you are welcome to do so. We are going to invite the community to rise one final time as we begin our concluding prayers with the words of Elena. Grandmother's coming. Softer. I like it. Open them up.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים בפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Here at the end of our service, we think of the people that still touch us through memory. We honor the recent passings of Tina Meeker, of Nanette Carper. We recall on the anniversaries of their deaths, Joyce Abramovitz Margolis, Howard Becker, Norris Bain, Mickey Brown, Stanley Crystal, Jeffrey Davis, Melvin Goldman, Ralph Gordon, Joan Schwartzman Harshman, Dorothy Daisy Hoffman, Lance Clem, Florence Kaur, Dr. Morris A. Leibovitz, Norman G. Lipsky, Aleph Marshall, Alan Miller, Millie Merman, Bonnie Neeson, Diane Acker, Bobby M. Raff, Meyer Reinhold, Gersha Rogers, Leah Bergshire, Ruth L. Smith, Louis Swirling. These are the names I have in front of me. If you'd like to add a name to the list, please do so at this time. We think of all people who have been a blessing to humanity and joined together in the words of our Kaddish Yatom mourners Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabba V'yalma divrach yiruteh v'yamich malchuteh V'chayachon v'yomachon uv'chayei d'kol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala b'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yita'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Kudisha b'richu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechamata Damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom v'ramav Hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. We ask that the source of peace send peace to all people who are mourning and comfort to all who may feel bereaved. We say one final time together.
Amen.
We got a Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom techila le'mikra'ei kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת Chaim.
You got a motzi for them?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
We got a closer for you too if you want it.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea, and crown thy good with brotherhood from the sea to shining sea.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Happy 4th. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.